Just sign it, my wife demanded, her attorney smirking beside her. I signed without a word and walked out. 24 hours later, her lawyer called her, voice shaking. I ran a background check on him. Cassie, who did you marry? She had no idea who she was trying to rob. My name is Thomas Callahan. I'm 60 years old. For 35 years, I've investigated financial crimes for major corporations. I follow money through shell companies and offshore accounts until I find a thief. But my wife Cassie thinks I'm just a bookkeeper for small businesses. I let her believe that. That afternoon, she walked into my office with a stranger. A young guy, maybe 40, wearing a $3,000 suit. Justin Cole, attorney at law. He had that smug look lawyers get when they think they're running the show. Cassie dropped papers on my desk. I need you to sign these. What are they? I asked. Power of attorney documents. Justin cut in, settling into the chair like he owned it. Standard stuff. Just transferring account access for easier household management. I flipped through the pages. Financial power of attorney. Full signing authority. Complete access to joint accounts. Why now? I looked at Cassie. She smiled that old smile. Because I love you, Tom. Because married people trust each other. Justin tapped his pen. This is routine, Mr. Callahan. Unless you don't trust your wife. I held his eyes for 3 seconds. He looked away first. If you love me, Cassie said softer, you'll sign it. I picked up my pen and signed slowly, clearly. Then I stood and walked to the door. Tom, surprise in her voice. You got what you wanted, I said. Behind me, Justin chuckled. Well, that went easier than expected. Cassie laughed. Told you he'd fold. Glasses clinked. They were celebrating already. What they didn't know was that I'd switched documents. The real one was already in my desk drawer. What they have is my version. Same format. Very different terms. I walked through the hallway I'd repaired 5 years ago while Cassie was at a conference in Arizona. That's probably where she met Justin. In my truck, I placed the sealed envelope on the passenger seat. Prepared 3 days ago. Ready to go. I wasn't running. I was executing. While Cassie played queen, I've been doing what I do best. Following the money. And what I found was beautiful. She never asked what I really did. Never read past the word bookkeeper. Never flipped to page 2 of those documents. Never saw the clause I wrote 7 years ago. I pulled out and headed north to meet my real attorney. In the rearview mirror, our house shrank. That colonial she insisted on. The one with the mortgage she thought we still had. The one that wasn't in her name at all. I lit my first cigarette in 8 months and smiled. They thought the game was starting. It was already over. Cassie's phone buzzed at 6:30 the next morning. I heard it from the guest room, where I'd been sleeping for the past 3 months. She always kept the ringer on full volume, like she was waiting for something important. I was already dressed, coffee in hand, watching the sunrise through the window. Waiting. Her voice came through the wall, muffled at first, then louder. Justin? It's 6 in the morning. What's wrong? I took a sip of coffee. Right on schedule. What do you mean you ran a background check? I told you that wasn't necessary. Her tone shifted. Defensive now. That edge she got when someone questioned her. What are you talking about? He's a bookkeeper. He does taxes for small businesses. Silence. Long enough that I knew Justin was talking fast. Explaining. Probably sweating. That's impossible. I've known him for 7 years. He works from home. I've seen his clients. I smiled. Those clients were real enough. Small operations I helped on the side. A little smoke screen never hurt anyone. A what? Justin, you're not making sense. Her footsteps came closer. I heard her door open, then her feet padding down the hallway. She was checking my office. I heard the door handle turn. He's not here, she said into the phone. His truck's gone. More silence. Justin was really laying it out now. Wait, say that again slowly. He's a what? I stood and walked to the kitchen. Put my mug in the sink. Grabbed my keys. Forensic auditor? Justin, what the hell is a forensic auditor? I could hear the panic creeping in. That crack in her voice she got when things weren't going according to plan. He investigates financial crimes? For who? Justin. He balances books for delis and hair salons. The front door of my office opened. She stood there in a robe, phone pressed to her ear, staring at the empty room. At my desk. At the spot where she'd made me sign those papers yesterday. She saw me in the kitchen doorway. Our eyes met. Justin, she said quietly, still holding my gaze. Who did I marry? I raised my coffee mug in a small salute, then walked past her to the garage. Tom, wait. I opened the truck door. Where are you going? What is Justin talking about? Tom. I started the engine. She ran to the driver's window, slapping the glass. Answer me. What's happening? I rolled the window down 2 inches. You wanted control of the accounts, Cassie. Check them. What does that mean? It means you should read documents before you sign them, especially the clauses about fraudulent coercion. Her face went white. What? You brought a lawyer into our home to pressure me into signing over financial control. That's called undue influence. The document you have isn't worth the paper it's printed on. But mine. I shifted into reverse. Mine's already filed. Filed where? Tom, what did you do? What I've been doing for 35 years, Cassie. Following the money. Your money. Justin's money. All of it. I backed out of the garage. She stood there, phone dangling from her hand, mouth open. In my rearview mirror, I watched her shrink. That big house behind her. The house she thought she was about to own outright. My phone rang. Emma, my oldest daughter. Dad, Mom's calling me screaming about lawyers and accounts. What's going on? I'll explain everything tonight, I said. But sweetheart, remember what I taught you about protecting what's yours. Never let anyone know what you really have until they show you who they really are. That's my girl. I hung up and merged onto the highway. Behind me, Cassie was probably calling Justin back. Probably screaming. Probably realizing that the quiet bookkeeper she dismissed for 7 years had just dismantled her entire plan in less than 24 hours. The sun was coming up full now. It was going to be a beautiful day. The county clerk's office smelled like old paper and fluorescent lights. I'd been here before, years ago, setting things up. My phone rang 5 times before noon. All Cassie. I ignored them. At First National Bank, Margaret slid a folder across her desk. Mr. Callahan, the transfer's completed this morning. Your wife tried accessing the joint savings at 10:15. And access denied. She called 3 times. Threatened legal action. Said she owned the house on Lexington Ridge and would take her business elsewhere. What did you tell her? I pulled the property records. The house is held in a closed trust. Has been for 8 years. Her name appears nowhere on the title. I'd bought that house 2 years before meeting Cassie. Cash purchase from a Denver consulting job. Put in trust the same day. When we married, I let her think we bought it together. She picked furniture, chose paint colors, planted roses. She thought it was hers. It never was. She accused you of fraud, Margaret continued. I explained premarital assets and trust aren't subject to division. How'd she take that? She hung up. My phone buzzed. Emma, Mom's calling everyone. Says you stole everything. What's happening? I texted back. Coming by tonight. Margaret pulled another document. The credit cards she's been using. Corporate cards from your consulting firm. Your primary. She was authorized user. I revoked access this morning. What's the damage? Past 12 months? $83,000. Pattern shows Tuesday and Thursday charges. High-end restaurants. Hotel rooms. Afternoon bookings. Justin. The charges match calendar entries in your shared account. She labeled them yoga class and meditation sessions. I laughed. She never could cover her tracks. Margaret closed her laptop. What now? Now she realizes how little she has. No house. No accounts. No cards. Even that espresso machine. Corporate purchase. You've been planning this. Preparing. Since we met. I wanted to believe in second chances after Caroline died. But I wasn't going to be vulnerable again. I stood. Thanks for handling everything. Outside, afternoon sun warmed my face. One more stop. The storage unit on the east side. The one Cassie didn't know existed. Where I'd been keeping copies of everything. Bank statements. Text messages. Hotel receipts. Evidence. Documentation. Protection. I wasn't destroying her. Just making sure she couldn't destroy me. Emma's loft had exposed brick and tall windows. She'd done well. Investment banking. Sharp like her mother. Caroline's strength without the vulnerability. Ava was already there. Laptop open. My younger daughter, corporate attorney from Chicago. She'd flown in that morning. Dad. Emma poured coffee. Mom called 6 times. She's hysterical. Says you locked her out of everything. I protected what's mine. She tried to take it. Ava turned her screen. I pulled the power of attorney she filed. Complete financial control. If it had been valid, she could have emptied every account. But it's not valid. No. The coercion clause you embedded 7 years ago. When she brought Justin Cole in, she triggered it. Document voids itself. Ava looked impressed. Sophisticated work. Emma leaned forward. Justin Cole. We looked him up. He's more than her lawyer. I know. Been tracking him for 8 months. How long have you known she was cheating? Ava asked. Since spring. I was checking our home network security. She used our Wi-Fi for calls. Not smart. Call logs showed the same number multiple times daily. Justin Cole, attorney at law. Emma's jaw tightened. Cheating and stealing. Looks that way. We can press charges. Fraud. Conspiracy. I held on my hand. I'm not interested in jail. Just protecting myself and making sure she leaves with nothing of mine. Ava pulled up another screen. The house. Registry shows trust ownership since 2015. Premarital. Fully protected. Mom has no claim. Emma finished. None. Her business. Ava asked. That interior design thing. I've been watching her accounts. Money flowing through that doesn't match legitimate clients. I documented everything and filed reports with the IRS. They'll audit. If they find what I think, she's got bigger problems than our divorce. Ava sat back. You've been building a case. Protecting evidence. My phone buzzed. Cassie, Tom, please. We need to talk. I showed them. Are you responding? Emma asked. When she's ready for honest conversation. Right now she's in shock. Thinking she can fix this. She can't. Ava closed her laptop. What do you need from us? Just wanted you to hear from me. She'll paint herself as the victim. You need to know the truth. We know. Emma said firmly. Your mother, Caroline, taught me something before she died. She said if I ever loved again, make sure I knew who they really were before giving them power to hurt me. I try to follow that. With Cassie, I kept one eye open. Silence settled. What happens now? Ava asked. Cassie realizes she has no leverage. No money. No house. No access. She'll try negotiating. Then threatening. Then she'll leave. Just like that. Just like that. And Justin. I smiled. I sent documents to the state bar. Ethics complaints. Having intimate relationships with clients while handling their legal affairs. Big no-no. Ava laughed. You're destroying both of them. I'm letting the system work. Just providing evidence. We talked another hour. I showed them everything. Trust documents. Bank records. Hotel receipts. Recordings. When I left, sun was setting. Emma walked me out. Dad, are you okay? I hugged her. I'm relieved. Living with someone you can't trust is exhausting. Now, I don't have to pretend. Mom will be proud. Caroline, I mean. I hope so. I drove home as streetlights flickered on. House was dark. Cassie wasn't there. Probably at a hotel. Calling lawyers. Realizing every lawyer would want a retainer she couldn't pay. Inside, everything was exactly as I left it. My house. My sanctuary. I poured a drink in my study. Tomorrow would bring chaos. More calls. More threats. But tonight I had peace. The IRS doesn't knock politely. They announce themselves with certified letters and federal authority. Cassie's letter arrived on a Wednesday morning. I know because she called me screaming. What did you do? Her voice was shrill, panicked. The IRS is auditing me. 7 years, Tom. They want 7 years of records. I was at a coffee shop, reviewing case files for an actual client. I didn't do anything, Cassie. I just provided them with information. What information? Your business accounts. The cash deposits that don't match your invoices. The clients who don't exist. The expenses that look like money laundering. All of it. Silence. Then, quieter. You're trying to put me in jail. I'm trying to protect myself. If you've been running clean books, you have nothing to worry about. Have you been running clean books? She hung up. 3 days later, Justin called me directly. First time we'd spoken since that afternoon in my office. Mr. Callahan, this is Justin Cole. I think we need to talk. I don't think we do. I'm calling about the complaint you filed with the state bar. Oh, that. How's it going? His voice tightened. You know exactly how it's going. They're investigating. My license is under review. This could destroy my career. You should have thought about that before you slept with your client while advising her to rob her husband. I never advised her to rob anyone. No. What would you call helping her draft a power of attorney designed to give her complete control of my assets? That was legitimate legal counsel. Was sleeping with her legitimate legal counsel too? Because I've got hotel footage that says otherwise. 23 visits, Justin. The Bar Association has copies of all of them. He was quiet for a moment. When he spoke again, the smugness was gone. What do you want? I want you to leave me alone. I want you to stop calling Cassie. I want you to fade into whatever hole lawyers crawl into when they've been caught. She's got nothing, you know. No money. No place to live. You've left her destitute. She tried to steal everything I built. I'm supposed to feel sorry for her. She's desperate, Tom. Desperate people do stupid things. Is that a threat? It's a warning. Watch yourself. He hung up. I called Emma immediately. Justin just threatened me. Recorded the call. I need you to file a police report. Dad, are you serious? Dead serious. Get Ava involved too. I want documentation. If Cassie or Justin try anything, I want a paper trail. That night, I upgraded the security system at my house. New cameras. Motion sensors. Monitored alarm. I wasn't paranoid. I was prepared. Because Justin was right about one thing. Desperate people do stupid things. 2 weeks later, my car windshield was smashed. No note. No witnesses. Just shattered glass in my driveway. I called the police. Filed a report. Gave them footage from my new cameras, showing a figure in dark clothing approaching at 3 a.m. face obscured, but body language familiar. The detective looked at the footage. You know who this is? I have suspicions. My wife and I are separating. It's gotten ugly. How ugly? IRS audit, bar association complaints, frozen accounts ugly. He nodded slowly. We'll look into it. But Mr. Callahan, you might want to stay vigilant. Already am. I had the windshield replaced the same day. Sent the bill to Cassie's lawyer. The one she'd managed to scrape together with borrowed money. She was unraveling. And I was documenting every second of it. Michael Walker sat across from me at a downtown diner. 26 years old, Marine Corps logistics officer, home on leave. He had his father's eyes and his mother's sharp features, but none of Cassie's cruelty. Mr. Callahan, I appreciate you meeting me. Tom, please. And thank you for reaching out. He stirred his coffee. I heard what my mother tried to do to you. Sounds familiar. Your sister Ashley. Is she coming? She's on video call. Didn't want to fly in, but she wanted to be part of this. He turned his phone. Ashley waved from the screen, sitting in what looked like a small office. Hi, Tom. Thanks for including me. Of course. You both deserve to know what's happening. Michael leaned forward. Our mother stole from us. $200,000 our father left for our education. She was supposed to protect it. Instead, she emptied the account and spent it on herself. Ashley's voice came through the speaker. Furniture. Vacations. That stupid kitchen remodel, she just had to have. All our money. We didn't find out until Michael tried to pay for graduate school. The account was empty. When did you confront her? I asked. 4 years ago, Michael said. She denied it at first. Said we were confused. Then she said she'd borrowed it temporarily. Then she got angry and told us we were ungrateful. That she'd raised us and deserved something for her sacrifice. We haven't spoken to her since, Ashley added. She tried calling for a while. Sent emails. Wanted to explain. But there's nothing to explain. She stole from her own children. I pulled out a folder. I want to show you something. These are your mother's business accounts. The ones I gave to the IRS. Michael scanned the pages. His jaw tightened. These deposits. They're way too large for interior design consulting. Exactly. She's been running money through her business. I don't know where it's coming from, but it's not legitimate work. Ashley leaned closer to her screen. Is that why the IRS is auditing her? Part of it. The other part is unreported income and fraudulent expense claims. Michael sat back. She's going to jail, isn't she? Maybe. Depends what the IRS finds. But yes, she's facing serious charges. Good, Ashley said flatly. She should face consequences. She's never faced consequences for anything. We talked for another hour. They told me stories about growing up with Cassie. The manipulation. The lies. The way she played victim whenever she was caught doing something wrong. She'll try to paint you as the villain, Michael warned. She's probably already telling people you're abusive, controlling, that you stole from her. Let her talk. I've got documentation. Evidence. Truth. Ashley smiled thinly. She hates the truth. It's her kryptonite. When we finished, Michael shook my hand firmly. If you need us to testify, we will. In court, to lawyers, whatever you need. She tried to do to you what she did to us. That ends now. Thank you both. That means more than you know. As I drove home, I thought about families. How they fracture. How trust breaks. How some people leave destruction wherever they go. Cassie had destroyed her relationship with her children for money. Now she tried to destroy me for the same reason. But this time, She'd picked the wrong target. This time, the destruction was going to be hers alone. The man who walked into my office on a Tuesday afternoon wasn't someone I expected to see. Ever. Tom Callahan, he asked, extending his hand. I'm David Reynolds, Cassie's brother. I stood slowly. I know who you are. Cassie said you two didn't speak. We don't. Haven't in 15 years. That's why I'm here. He sat without waiting for invitation. Mid-50s, weathered face, work-worn hands. Nothing like Cassie's polished facade. I heard about what she tried to do to you, he said. Heard about the power of attorney. The lawyer. All of it. News travels fast. Small town where I'm from. People talk. He pulled out a folder. I came because you need to know what she did to our family. To me. I sat back down. I'm listening. Our parents died in 2008. Left us equal shares of their estate. House, savings, investments. About $400,000 total. Cassie was executor. She was always the smart one, the educated one. I was just a mechanic. I trusted her. Let me guess. She stole your half. Worse. She stole all of it. Claimed there were debts I didn't know about. Estate taxes. Legal fees. Showed me documents proving it was all gone. I believed her. I was grieving. I wasn't thinking straight. What happened? 3 years later, I ran into an old family friend. Lawyer who'd helped my parents with their will. He asked how I'd spent my inheritance. I told him there wasn't any. He looked confused. Said he'd reviewed the estate. There were no debts. No major taxes. Should have been plenty left. David's hand shook slightly. I hired my own lawyer. Took 6 months, but we traced it. Cassie had funneled everything into accounts only she controlled. Every dollar. She'd forged documents about the debts. Fabricated expenses. Stole $200,000 from her own brother. Did you press charges? Tried. Statute of limitations had passed. My lawyer said we could try civil court, but it would cost more than I'd recover. So I cut contact. Told her if she ever came near me again, I'd make sure everyone knew what she'd done. He slid the folder across. This is everything. Bank records. The forged documents. Witness statements. I'm giving it to you because you're fighting her. And Tom, she needs to be stopped. I opened the folder. Page after page of evidence. Clear, documented, damning. Why help me? You don't know me. Because she's done this her whole life. Takes what isn't hers. Lies about it. Plays victim when she's caught. Someone needs to finally hold her accountable. Might as well be you. David, this is evidence of fraud. Criminal fraud. I know. Do with it what you want. I just want her to finally face consequences. After he left, I sat with that folder for an hour. Then I called my attorney. I need you to see something. Cassie's been doing this a lot longer than I thought. Emma came by that evening. I showed her everything David had brought. She read in silence, then looked up with tears in her eyes. Dad, she's a monster. She's a predator. And she's been hunting for decades. What are you going to do? Make sure she never hunts again. The state prosecutor's office was utilitarian. Gray walls, fluorescent lights, the smell of burnt coffee, and broken promises. Assistant District Attorney James Harrison sat across from me, reviewing the evidence I brought. David's documents, my recordings, bank statements, hotel receipts, everything. Mr. Callahan, this is extensive. You've been documenting for a while. Years. I'm a forensic auditor. Documentation is what I do. He flipped through pages. The brother's evidence. This shows a pattern. Fraud against a family member. That strengthens any case significantly. Can you prosecute for the brother's case? Statute of limitations expired. But this establishes pattern of behavior. Shows she's done this before. That's valuable. He pulled out another file. The IRS audit. Preliminary findings show significant discrepancies in her business accounts. Unreported income. Fraudulent expenses. Cash deposits totaling over $300,000 in the past 4 years. Where's it coming from? That's what they're investigating. But Mr. Callahan, tax evasion at this scale? We're talking serious charges. 5 to 10 years potentially. She brought this on herself. She did. The power of attorney attempt. That's attempted fraud. The coercion clause you included was smart. The recording you made of that meeting? That's admissible. Single party consent state. Will you prosecute? He closed the folder. I'm building a case. Grand jury in 6 weeks. If they indict, and I think they will, your wife faces multiple felony counts. I left that office feeling nothing. No victory. No satisfaction. Just the weight of watching someone destroy themselves. That night, Cassie called. First time in 2 weeks. Tom, I heard you went to the DA. Why are you doing this? I didn't do anything. I provided evidence of crimes. They're doing their job. I could go to prison. You could. Please, Tom. I'm begging you. Drop this. Tell them you won't cooperate. No. I'll lose everything. You already have. Tom, please. I made mistakes. I was scared. I was stupid. But I don't deserve prison. I thought about David. About Michael and Ashley. About all the people she'd hurt over the years. Cassie, you spend your life taking from people. Your brother. Your children. Me. You never faced real consequences. Maybe it's time you did. I hate you. I know. But you hate consequences more. She hung up. Emma called minutes later. Dad, was that Mom? Yes. You okay? I'm fine. She wanted me to drop the investigation. You're not going to, right? Not a chance. She needs to face this. Good. Because Ava and I talked. We want to be there. At the trial. If it goes to trial. We want to support you. You don't have to. We want to. You protected yourself, Dad. You did nothing wrong. We're proud of you. After we hung up, I walked to my study. Poured a drink. Looked at the house around me. My house. My sanctuary. Still standing. In 6 weeks, a grand jury would decide Cassie's fate. The evidence was overwhelming. The case was solid. Justice was finally coming. And I'd sleep soundly knowing I protected not just myself, but everyone else she might have hurt down the line. The courthouse steps were cold that November morning. Emma and Ava stood beside me, silent support in expensive coats and determined expressions. You ready, Dad? Emma asked. I've been ready for months. Inside, the courtroom smelled like old wood and stale air. Cassie sat at the defense table with a public defender. She'd burned through 3 private attorneys already. None wanted to touch her case. She looked smaller somehow. Gray roots showing through blonde dye. Cheap blazer instead of designer labels. The woman who'd walked into my office demanding signatures was gone. This was what remained. The judge entered. We stood. Case number 2024, CR 8847. The state versus Cassandra Reynolds Callahan. Are we ready to proceed? Cassie's lawyer stood. Your Honor, my client wishes to enter a plea. Go ahead. Cassie stood, hands shaking. Guilty, Your Honor. To all counts. The prosecutor stood. Your Honor, given the defendant's plea and the evidence presented, the state recommends 42 months in federal prison, followed by 5 years supervised probation and full restitution to all victims. The judge looked at Cassie. Ms. Callahan, do you understand what you're pleading guilty to? Yes, Your Honor. 4 counts of tax evasion, 2 counts of fraud, 1 count of conspiracy. You understand this means prison time? I understand. And you're entering this plea voluntarily? Yes. The judge made notes. Sentencing is set for December 15th. Bail is revoked. The defendant will be remanded to custody immediately. 2 marshals approached Cassie. She looked back once, directly at me. Not with hatred, with defeat. I felt nothing. They led her away. The courtroom cleared. Emma hugged me in the hallway. It's over, she said. It is. Ava joined us. 42 months. She'll serve maybe 30 with good behavior. Still long enough, I said. Outside, the sun broke through clouds. Michael and Ashley were waiting on the steps. They'd come to witness the plea. Michael shook my hand. Thank you for seeing this through. You helped make it happen. Ashley smiled, the first genuine smile I'd seen from her. Maybe now we can all move on. We stood together, these children Cassie had betrayed, and talked about futures instead of past wounds. David, her brother, called that afternoon. I heard. Guilty plea. 42 months. Yes. Good. Maybe she'll finally learn something. Maybe. But I'm not holding my breath. Tom, thank you for holding her accountable. I couldn't do it. You did. After he hung up, I sat in my study. The house was quiet. My house. Finally completely mine again. The divorce papers were already filed. Uncontested now. She had nothing to fight for. Justin's law license was permanently revoked. He'd moved to another state, tail between his legs. Everything was resolved. Every loose end tied. Emma and Ava came for dinner that night. We cooked together, laughed together, remembered Caroline together. Mom will be proud, Ava said, of how you protected yourself. I hope so. We know so. Emma added. You taught us something important. Stand up for yourself. Document everything. Never let anyone make you a victim. That's the lesson, I said. You're never a victim if you see it coming and prepare. Later, alone, I poured a drink and stepped onto the back deck. Cold November air. Clear stars. Cassie would spend the next 3 years in prison. Then 5 more looking over her shoulder. I'd spend them living the life I protected. Working. Spending time with my daughters. Maybe even dating again someday. But not yet. First, I needed to just breathe. And that's exactly what I did. 18 months later, I stood in that same house, watching spring rain through the window. The house felt different now. Lighter. Like it had exhaled something toxic and could finally breathe. Emma had gotten engaged. Investment banker she'd met through work. Good man. Respectful. I checked his background thoroughly. Old habits. Ava was making partner at her firm. Caroline would have been so proud. Cassie was 16 months into her sentence. Minimum security facility in Pennsylvania. She'd written me twice. I never opened the letters. Returned them unopened. Michael and Ashley had reconnected with me. We met for dinner occasionally. They were healing. Building lives their mother's toxicity hadn't poisoned. David called every few months. We'd become unlikely friends. 2 men who'd survived the same predator. My work continued. New cases. New clients. Companies in crisis still needed someone to follow the money. But I was more careful now. More selective. Life was too short to spend it drowning in other people's disasters. The doorbell rang. Emma and her fiancé, bringing lunch. Dad, she hugged me. You look good. Relaxed. I am. We ate together, talked about wedding plans, laughed about nothing important. After they left, I walked through the house. Every room held memories now. Not of Cassie. Of Caroline. Of my daughters growing up. Of the life I'd built with my own hands. In my study, I opened the locked drawer. The one with all the evidence I collected. Years of documentation. Protection. Preparation. I'd kept it all. Even after the trial. Insurance. Just in case. But looking at it now, I realized something. I didn't need it anymore. I took the files outside to the fire pit. One by one, I fed them to the flames. Bank statements. Hotel receipts. Recordings. All of it. Watching them burn felt like releasing weight I'd carried too long. The last document was the power of attorney Cassie had tried to force on me. The one that started everything. I held it for a moment, reading my own signature. Then I dropped it into the fire. As it burned, I thought about contingencies. About preparing for the worst while hoping for the best. About protecting yourself without becoming paranoid. I'd done what I needed to do. Defended what was mine. Stopped someone who'd hurt people for decades. But I wasn't defined by that fight anymore. I was just Tom, 62 years old, father of 2 incredible women. Grandfather soon, if Emma's hints meant anything. A man who'd loved and lost and loved again. Who'd been betrayed and survived. Who'd learned that sometimes the strongest thing you can do is simply refuse to be a victim. The fire died down. Ashes scattered in the breeze. I went back inside, poured a drink, and called Emma. Hey, sweetheart. About the wedding. I was thinking, maybe we do it here, in the garden? Your mom loved that garden. Caroline, she wanted to be part of this. Dad, that's perfect. Really perfect. After we hung up, I sat on the back deck watching the sunset. Somewhere, Cassie was in a cell, counting days. Here, I was free. Truly free. And that was the greatest victory of all. Not revenge. Not even justice. Just peace. Finally peace.